Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something a lot of us wonder about. Cardio versus weights for losing fat. You know, the classic fitness debate.
Exactly. And there's this pretty compelling recent study out of Iowa State University that might make us rethink things.
Right, and we're looking at it through the lens of Dr. Jim Stoppani's analysis. He's quite well known in the lifting and nutrition space.
Very respected. He broke down this study published in the European Heart Journal just this year, 2024.
Okay, so our goal here is pretty simple. Let's pull out the key insights. What does this research really tell us about weight training versus cardio for fat loss? And, what does that mean for structuring our workouts?
Sounds good. So the study itself, it was pretty substantial. They took over 400 adults aged between 35 and 70, all categorized as overweight or obese.
Okay, quite a specific group. And what did they have these folks do?
They randomly put them into 4 different groups for a whole year. That's a long time for a study like this.
A year, yeah, that's serious commitment. What were the groups?
All right, so group 1, just weight training, an hour, 3 times a week. Group 2, just cardio, same deal, an hour, 3 times a week.
Standard setups. What about group 3?
Group 3 did a combination, so 30 minutes of weights and 30 minutes of cardio, again, 3 times a week. And then, of course, group 4 was the control, no exercise program.
Right, the baseline. Okay, a year later, what was the big headline finding? I hear it was a bit of a surprise.
It really was. The main takeaway, the one that kind of challenges conventional wisdom, is that all 3 exercise groups, the weights only, the cardio only, and the combination group, they all lost roughly the same amount of body fat.
Wait, really? So lifting weights was just as effective as doing cardio for shedding fat in this study?
Over the course of that year, yes. In terms of pure body fat reduction, there wasn't a significant difference between the 3 approaches. That definitely goes against the grain of you must do cardio for fat loss.
Wow, okay. So if fat loss was similar, did they see differences in other areas, like muscle gain or heart health?
Absolutely. And this is where the specific benefits of each type really shine through. The weight training group, as you'd probably expect, they gained the most strength and, importantly, lean muscle mass.
Makes sense. What about the cardio side?
The cardio-only group, and interestingly, the combination group too, showed positive changes in certain cardiovascular disease risk factors. Think lower LDL cholesterol, better fasting blood glucose levels.
Okay, heart health markers.
Exactly. And they also saw a significant boost in their peak VO2. That's a key measure of aerobic fitness, how efficiently your body uses oxygen. The weight training group didn't really see those specific cardio-related benefits.
Interesting. So weights for muscle and strength, cardio for aerobic fitness, and those specific heart markers. What about the combo group again? They did half the cardio and half the weights.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point Dr. Stoppani highlighted. They did half the volume of each, but still got the same fat loss as the full-hour groups. And they also got those cardiovascular benefits. Maybe not quite as much as cardio only, but they were there.
So it makes you wonder, what if they had done the full hour of both?
Precisely. The study suggests that maybe a full program incorporating both could potentially yield even better results across the board: fat loss, muscle gain, and cardiovascular health.
So bringing it all together, what was Dr. Stoppani's overall conclusion from this?
He basically said, look, this shows weight training is effective for fat loss, just as much as cardio in this context. But, and it's a big but, cardio is still essential for improving those specific cardiovascular health factors and aerobic capacity. Weight training doesn't quite cover that.
And obviously weights are needed for building significant muscle and strength.
Right. You need the weights for the muscle and strength. You need the cardio for the heart and lungs, essentially. Both help with fat loss.
Okay, so for listeners trying to figure out their own routine, what's the practical advice here, the sort of expert recommendation?
Well, based on this research, the most, let's say, holistic approach seems to be a program that intelligently combines both. Resistance training for the muscle and strength benefits, and some form of cardio. Could be steady state, could be HIIT for the cardiovascular and aerobic fitness advantages.
Best of both worlds, essentially.
That seems to be the message. You get the fat loss benefits potentially from both, plus all the unique advantages each type of exercise offers.
So the big takeaway then is you don't necessarily have to log endless cardio hours just to lose fat. Weight training can work too. But if you care about overall health, especially heart health and fitness, incorporating both seems like the smartest strategy according to this study.
Exactly right. It's about balance. And maybe it prompts a question for everyone listening.
Yeah.
How might you look at your own routine now? Knowing this, could you maybe tweak things to better hit both fat loss goals and boost that crucial cardiovascular health? What would that balanced approach actually look like for you? Something to definitely mull over.